Hello, welcome back. Here is Ali Talabi, and this is our module number 8, the second lesson. So we talk about the capital budgeting and we learn what do we mean when we talk about that. And I mentioned that there are several techniques which we can use in capital budgeting to choose the right project. In this lesson, I'm going to talk about three of those techniques. Payback period, discounted payback period, and net present value. I'm going to show you how to use these techniques to choose the right project. So let's start. So the first one, which is I would say the most straightforward or also the easiest one, it's called payback period. So the argument here is simple. You are looking for the projects which actually giving you back your initial investment in the quicker time. So you're looking for those type of projects which you can recover your initial investment in the shorter period of time. That's the whole argument here. So the payback period is actually showing you how long it takes to get your initial investment. So how you choose the appropriate project, you are choosing something which we call cutoff point. So you're saying, for example, I'm looking for those projects which actually giving me my money just during the 3 years, let's say. So 3 years, here is your payback period. So you choose those projects which are which have the payback period shorter than 3 years. So for sure, how you choose the projects, shorter better, as long as it fulfills that timeline and that cutoff point, you will choose that. But how actually we use the payback period, how we calculate the payback period. So let's look at the next part. Now let's look at this example and see how we can actually calculate the payback period. So let's assume we have three projects. All these three projects, they require the same type of money. So both, all three of them, they require $5,000 initial investment, and your cutoff point here is 2 years. So you're looking for projects which are giving you back the money within 2 years. Now, if you look at, for example, the first project, you see that after 1 year, you are getting back $1,000. So still you need, so we can go like this. So $5,000, $1,000 you getting, which means still you need $4,000 out of your initial investment. The second year, during the second year, you are getting the cash flow of $3,000. Again, remember this is cash inflow. You are getting that. That's a positive cash flow. So, which means still you need $1,000. So that's why I'm going with the negative $1,000. So I'm just adding, accumulating all these cash flows. So by the end of year 2, still you need $1,000. When it comes to year 3, you receive $6,000. You just need $1,000. So the question here is that $1,000, what portion of $6,000 is that? So in other words, I'm dividing the $1,000 I still need by $6,000, and for sure it gives you 0.1666, and it means it takes 0.16 of the third year to get that $1,000 you need. So far we had 2 years plus that 0.166, just I rounded it up, which means it takes 2.17 years to recover your initial investment. And for sure, as you see, we assumed here that you are getting back your money in proportion of the year. So for example, after 1 month, you are getting 1/12 of the cash flow during the year. After 2 months, you get 2/12 of the cash flows of the year. So that's the assumption we're making, but we know in real setting, this may not be a correct assumption. Anyway, we can do the same thing for projects B and C, and you will see that for both projects B and C, the payback periods are 2 years, as you see. For example, project B, you're getting $2,000 after 1 year, so still you need $3,000. During the third year, during the second year, actually, you're getting another $3,000, which means you just fully recovered your initial investment. So your payback period in this case will be 2 years. Same for project C. So as you see, what's happening here? For example, in project C, we are fully ignoring that $2,000. Now let's assume instead of $2,000, we just generated $6,000 during the third year. Does it matter? No, because your cutoff point here is end of year 2. So to some degree, you are ignoring that $6,000. So payback period is 2 years. And in this case, you will choose projects B and C, and you will ignore project A. Why? Because project A has a longer payback period than 2 years. That's the whole argument here. Does it make sense? Most probably not, because you see that in, for example, project C, you are ignoring the cash flows after year 2. Project B, there is no cash flow in year 3. And in project A, there is a good chunk of money which you receive during year 3, which again, you are ignoring the whole project because you couldn't get your money back within 2 years. So we notice that in payback period, actually, we have a cutoff point. We ignore the cash flows after the cutoff point. Also, there is another major issue which we had with the payback period, which is the time value of money. As you notice, I just added the cash flows from year 1, year 2, year 0. It means I didn't care when I'm getting all these cash flows. Is that the correct approach? Most probably not. We learned in the first lesson that we need to include the time value of money. We need to consider time value of money. So that's why we can go with the upgraded version of the payback period, which is called discounted payback period. Very similar to the payback period, the regular one. The major difference here is we discount all the cash flows and we calculate the present value of all the cash flows. So we are actually addressing one of the major issues which we had in the payback period, which is the time value of money. But still, we have another major issue which we had in the payback period. We ignore all the cash flows after cutoff point. So even in this version, we are not including all the cash flows. Let's look at the same example we had for the payback period. This time, let's calculate the discounted payback period. So what's happening here? I'm just focusing on project A. So I want to see that what is the discounted payback period for the project A. This time you see I'm not just adding all the cash flows. I'm finding the present value of each cash flow first. So what is the present value of $5,000? You're right, $5,000. Why? Because this is happening year 0. We learned in module 5 the present value of the money which is happening now. It's 10. Okay, so $5,000, $5,000. That's why you see the same numbers here. When it comes to year 1, you receive $1,000. However, we know $1,000 1 year from now is not same now. So you have to discount it to the current time. Let's assume the appropriate discount rate is 10%. So we are going to discount with 10%. So this is $1,000. If you divide $1,000 by 1.1, we learned this in time value of money. If you want to find the present value, we learned that simply you need just to divide the future value. So if you want just to find the present value, we'll learn it is based on the future value divided by 1 plus, let's say that's your discount rate, to power of n. So R is discount rate. In our case, it's 10%. N is number of periods. For example, the first cash flow, it means your N should be 1. The future value, in my case here, is $1,000. Then I'm using that as the future value, which means 909, that's the present value of $1,000. So I'm not adding $1,000 to $5,000 anymore. I'm adding 909 to $5,000, which means in this case, I will get now $4,091, which means still I need $4,091 to recover my initial investment, which was $5,000. Same for this second year. So I'm generating $3,000 out of this project during the second year. And remember, this is happening 2 years from now, which means your end should be 2. You are discounting back for 2 periods. How much? $3,000. Future value is $3,000. Your end here is 2. And you will get $2,479. I'm adding that to that cash outflow, which I had for 1,091, and I'm getting 1,612. Still, I need $1,612 to recover my initial investment. So let's go to the third year. When it comes to the third year, you are generating $6,000. And remember to discount these $6,000, your N is 3. So you are discounting back for 3 periods with the same rate, which is 10%, and your future value should be $6,000. And you will get 4,508. How much you need? 1,612. So you don't need the full amount. We do the same thing. We divide, as you see here, we divide the money you need by the money you get. So that's the 1,612. That's the money you need. You still need to recover. Then 4,508, that's the money you are getting during the third year, which is 0.36. This is 0.36. You already had 2 years. You already waited for 2 years. So now it's 2 plus 0.36. So your discounted payback period becomes 2.36 years. And for sure, as you notice, this is longer than the payback period. For project A, I believe the payback period was 2.17. So you can compare this with the 2.17, which was for the payback period. You see, the discounted one is longer. And this is normally true. If you have kind of normal cash flow, cash outflow followed by some cash inflows, your discounted payback period is always less. I should say longer, will be more than payback period. So discounted payback period is longer than the regular payback period. Why? Because you're discounting all these cash inflows, which means you are getting a smaller numbers. So again, your discounted payback period will be longer or more than payback period. Now let's look at the third approach, which is the net present value, one of the most popular ways of choosing a project. So net present value is talking about finding the present value of the old cash flows. So here we are going just to consider time value of money as well. We know some of the cash flows are out, which means we are paying. Some of the cash flows are in, which means we receive that. Now, the argument here is, let's find the present value of all cash inflows, and let's find the present value of the cash outflows. You are going just to use the same measure. In other words, you try just to compare apples with apples, because we learn that the money you receive over time, the value is changing because of, again, the time value of money. So you want just to bring all the cash flows to one time, which is now, and then compare them. So what you do when you find the present value of cash inflows and present value of cash outflow, you take out the cash outflow portion, and whatever is left, it's called net present value. And that's why we call it net, because you are taking out cash outflow from cash inflow. So that's net present value. Or you can use the formula as you see here. You can say, oh, there is a cash flow right now. And we know cash flow right now, or the cash flow zero, as you see here, you don't need to discount it because it's happening now. And the discounting is happening actually from the next period. So find the present value of first cash flow, present value of the second cash flow, so on and so forth. These cash flows might be, again, in or out. Doesn't matter. If they are out, the sign should be negative. Be careful. Yes, you see, the sign should be negative. You're taking out. If these are cash inflow, the sign should be positive. And for sure, when you are adding this, you will get a number, either positive or negative. Based on the NPV rule, you will accept the project which they have positive NPV. You're right. Because actually you want just to have higher cash inflow than the cash outflow. For that, it means the project should have the positive NPV or net present value should be a plus number. So positive is good, higher is better. So that's the rule when it comes to net present value. You're always looking for the projects which they have a higher NPV. Now, let's assume that you have two projects, A and B. They both have positive NPV. So which project you will choose? If you don't have any budget limit, if these are not mutually exclusive, you should choose both because both are adding to your they're adding to your the value of the firm, they're adding cash flow. However, if you have to choose one, you will go with the project which has higher net present value. That's it for today. We'll talk more about other techniques in the capital budgeting. So bye for now. Have a wonderful day. And here is Ali Televi. Talk to you soon.